Picture this, two guys trapped in the South Charleston Public Library. One guy loves movies, the other, well, he'd rather be watching reality TV. Can they survive each other's films? Find out on Real Opposites, a library podcast about movies. Hosted by Josh and Aaron from the South Charleston Public Library.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Real Opposites. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
And we are back for a somewhat special episode. We are actually going to talk about two movies that are in the theaters.
Currently in theaters.
Yeah, at least as of recording, but they probably still will be.
They should be,
in a couple days.
A couple weeks,
so.
Yeah. Or a couple days, yeah.
So we went to see Talk to Me and Barbie. So that's what we're going to be discussing this time around. I guess we're going to start with Talk to Me.
Yeah, you usually end up with like the darker movie first. Like in a double feature. Like if this was a double feature, usually.
That's how you watch it?
I did it the exact opposite way last night, but that does make sense.
Okay.
Well, you get kind of like serious, and then you gotta pick me up.
Oh, that makes sense though.
Mm-hmm.
That does make sense.
I mean, it kind of works either way, but
yeah,
I think it works better that way.
Yeah,
personally.
I guess in a way that's how I saw them. Not in the same night though.
Yeah,
but I saw Talk to Me then Barbie, which I think you did too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw Talk to Me first.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw
them like a week apart or so.
Yeah, mine was about that. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Talk to me about Talk to Me.
Talk to me about
I was waiting on it.
Always count on Aaron.
With those zingas.
I really loved the movie. I was trying to rack my brain to think of like a better supernatural horror movie that I'd seen in a long time, and I think it's up there.
What's a long time?
What's a long time? Probably like 10 years.
Hereditary.
Hereditary's good. It's like on the same level for me.
Oh, no, not for me at all, but okay.
Oh, me either.
Yeah,
this was definitely better than Hereditary.
Oh, really? Other way. You didn't pay attention when you watched Hereditary.
Hereditary was what, 2015?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's like 8 years.
Yeah.
I guess that's
almost out of range.
2015 or 20?
That's crazy.
I think it's 2015, I think.
I thought that Talk to Me was good. I didn't think it was scary.
No, I mean, I don't really base horror movies on like if it's
scary.
Scary. Like I more am concerned with like how kind of under my skin it can get, or how more it can like spur like some thoughts, like
right,
or some ideas in my head about, or like more like the unknown is usually my favorite kind of horror. Like as much as I love like 80s slashers, they're really not my favorite horror genre. It's usually more like supernatural stuff, like or with like a sci-fi bend, like The Thing.
I mean, the like supernatural or possession, those kind of movies are my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, they typically are for me, even though I don't believe in any of this stuff, but it's like fun. It makes for good stories, I think, like The Exorcist or like The Thing.
So I agree.
Candyman.
I just don't think this one, I thought this was fine, and I really enjoyed the allegory, which you guys I'm sure we'll talk about. But it just didn't rank up there for me for horror movies. And not that it was bad. It was perfectly fine, but it wasn't like, it was lukewarm for me. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it was just coming right off the emotional high of Barbie and going straight into it.
That's what I mean. Weird. You got to start off with the downer.
Right. That could be part of it. I mean, going back to like the possession movies and stuff, I think for me, as we've talked about my weird beliefs and things on here anyways, but I think that kind of stuff could happen. So for me, I think that's what makes them the scariest one.
Smile
or the
was
best.
A creepier one for me in the possession thing in the last little bit.
I've not seen it.
I didn't see it.
Smile is... it's good.
But I think so. When I was watching the movie, there was a lot of things about Talk to Me that I did like. First of all, I like the story. I like the concept of the movie. And there were some intense parts that really had me on the edge of my seat, which is hard to do for me. Yeah. The makeup and stuff was pretty decent. The boy when he's
like
trapped in
possessed.
the demon world and possessed.
I thought it was like just the right amount of like possession. Like I didn't overdo it with like some like exaggerated animatronics or anything. It was just like
Natural-ish.
just like it still
Yeah.
looked like them. It was just like they were definitely having a bad day.
Right. And I mean, speaking of intense, when he does basically the movie, in case you haven't seen it, is there is an
Mummified
old
hand.
fortune teller's hand
Yeah.
that has been in plaster or something.
I just want to say I love that they don't explain where it came from. Really, I don't think
Yeah.
that's just a mystery. Like it's just kind of like left there, and I love it that when they don't explain stuff like that. Like I don't need that explained. That's when I knew like I was in for like a good movie. Because that I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off on a
You're good.
tangent.
No, go ahead.
But like when that opening shot, which is like a long Steadicam shot, similar to like Halloween or like a De Palma movie, I was like, oh okay, they're like I don't know. It just felt like I'm in someone's hands that knows what they're doing.
The opening scene was strong.
Yeah, it was
Like,
really terrific. But then I was like, I liked how efficient the movie was, and it didn't get bogged down and going into side plots or anything.
Right. There was not a lot of side
Yeah,
plots.
it was very focused on what was happening to these two kids for the most part, you know. And I liked that it just wasn't explained like the party they go to get possessed.
Right.
It was just like, this just seems like
It's what kids
going
do.
over to your friend's house and getting high. Like the allegory's right there.
Yeah.
It's not subtle, but
Right.
I appreciate that it's not subtle because it's like I don't know.
It doesn't need to be.
It doesn't need to be. Yeah,
There's
exactly.
not a big thing to it. I mean, they talk about basically he got it from another friend who got it from a friend.
Yeah, it's like been passed
It's just
down.
like a mysterious pass it down
And
to
it's-
people type
And
thing.
it's kind of like a folklore almost in that
Right.
way. You know.
Yeah. So they have this hand, and what they do is they hold hands with it, and they say, "Talk to me," and a spirit of some sort appears.
And then they have to say,
I let you in.
I let you in." Yeah.
And then they get possessed, but they are only supposed to do it for so many seconds.
Tiny.
And
Yeah.
then, or like they're permanently possessed and can die.
Yeah.
So eventually they let a child do it for some reason. A teenager.
Yeah. It's like probably 13. Or
Yeah.
Something like that.
And he does get possessed.
Yeah.
They let him go too long. And
That was
the
intense.
the
Yeah, that
intense
was
scene
intense,
is
yeah.
like when he is taken over and then he's bashing his head in, and that whole scene, man,
It's hard to watch.
that was it was rough. It was good in a rough
yeah,
way.
Yeah.
So I will say that. Now I think overall, when I finished the movie, I remember feeling a very underwhelmed feeling, and I don't know 100%. I think there was a couple things that didn't hit right with me, or there was a couple things that were supposed to be kind of more serious, and I found them funny for some reason. I have a weird sense of
For
humor.
me, it was like the choices the girl made just stopped making sense. You know what I mean? And I get like it's part of the addiction allegory is that like she's not in her right mind.
Yeah. That's the whole
But
point.
like it was like the choices that she made stopped making sense. The opening of the movie was really strong. The ending felt like a letdown, and I don't know why. To me, it just felt like
No, I love the ending.
I don't know. I thought the ending was
I thought
fine.
the ending,
I
like
think
I thought the
when-
actual ending, but like the lead up to the ending just was it just didn't do it for me. I don't
I
know.
think like when the whole thing is like when you're in the thralls of an addiction, like it just keeps speaking to you and tell you
Right,
do things
exactly.
that you know are wrong,
100%.
but yet you just will keep going down that path. And
right.
I bought the whole thing hook, line, and sinker, and I
Yeah.
felt like there was a control of the script. Like they just had it felt very focused and in control, and like I knew. I don't know. I felt like I was in good hands throughout the whole movie.
I think for me, it was just a couple things. Like I was saying, I have a weird sense of humor, so I'm always in theaters just laughing at not things that no one else is. But it was just a couple moments, like when she's possessed and the guy's staying over at her house, and like what the ghost decides to do, ghost in quotes, decides to do is like suck on the guy's toes.
yeah.
Like it's supposed to be an intense scene, and I get it.
Yeah.
But and maybe they did that for a little bit of comic relief as
Well,
well.
I think-
But
Yeah.
I
for
think
me,
it's just
it was just I don't know, something about it was funny instead of scary.
Well, I mean, I think it is kind of in the moment, kind of a little bit like, wait, what?
Yeah,
But I think it's just so weird too.
Right.
Like if you put
and I think that's where they were going.
if you put yourself in his shoes or something, you wake up and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's very.
But
And I think it's something like it would be kind of cliche if she was like, had a knife at his throat or something like that's more threatening than just like, maybe demons have some kinks too.
yeah,
Well, I feel like both of them are ghosts, but like the Yeah, I mean,
I think there was a couple times that something with the mom took me out of it a little bit
yeah,
too.
that
And
was the part.
I can't even think like exactly what it was right now, but it's been like 2 weeks since I watched it. So
Okay.
The mom was the part that, like, I think we talked about this, or you guys talked about this with Scream, and I yelled at my computer from home because I wasn't here last week about, like, there is something about seeing your dead loved one that in me would just raise my hackles. Like, I understand, like, the wish for that, but, like, for me, I'd be like, oh, that can't be right.
yeah.
You know? I'm with Aaron. I kind of believe these things are possible. So I, like, get very, like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I did, like, the mom kind of was like, I don't know. Like, that's the part I just didn't buy.
Well, I think
Like,
I mean, I bought the mom thing. It wasn't that. It was just a couple things maybe they did choice wise with her. Like I said, right now I can't remember exactly what it was.
Yeah,
But I
nothing-
do remember something about the mom took me out of it once.
I mean, I think she
or
kind
twice.
of. I mean, I like that she was like very protective of her kid and was like very
Right.
get away from. Like, I don't want anywhere. Like, she's just very reactive, and I like that
Yeah.
about her. And like, I think like the reason I like supernatural horror movies tend to prefer them
Oh.
over like slashers.
I meant the ghost mom, not the real mom.
Oh,
Not Zelda and
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the ghost mom.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
ghost mom.
okay.
Real mom was great.
But anyways, go ahead.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Is because they have more of a sci-fi bend is because they stand in for things that like more we can see in our everyday lives,
Right.
versus like a slasher, which the slasher is just if it's really well made, it's fine,
Right.
but there's not a lot of them that are really well made.
True.
So it's just a guy or somebody with a knife or a gun or whatever. You know, it's just kind of it's all about execution.
Mhm.
It is with every movie, but especially with slashers. Whereas I think like something like, you know, The Shining or The Exorcist or like this, like they can have the horror element is more, it's more deep seated in the psyche of the characters,
Right.
and what they're seeing or what they're experiencing is a reflection of what they feel.
Right. And
You know?
I could definitely see that, and that's another thing about them is it's almost like when you're watching something, it can as far as like a paranormal type possession type movie, it almost can be more personal or can be a different way personal to you than someone else, because I also think when you're dealing with stuff like that, like the demons and things that people are dealing with, sometimes it also just translates to your actual life with your demons and things bad in your life. So I do think that also conjures up a lot of like thinking, and it makes it scarier.
Yeah, I mean,
Because you can almost relate to it more, although you're not possessed.
yeah, and if you can relate to someone who's losing their mind,
Right.
it's kind of like, I don't know, there's an extreme form of empathy there that I find very attractive, even in something like The Shining.
Yeah.
Like one of the things, I forget who it was. I was watching like a documentary about it. It was a writer director, and he was talking about if you've ever written or directed a movie, like you've been in that place where Jack is.
Oh, yeah.
And you've stared at that page and kind of lost your mind, and like you can see that, and even like pushing him to the point where, I don't know, it's kind of fun to watch him
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
terrorize his family to a certain degree, and it's like, and it makes you question things about yourself. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think this movie Talk to Me did it as well, in the fact that the choices that she is making, and would you make those same choices? Like, what if, because the whole point is the reason the kid gets possessed is because this girl, when he awakens a spirit, it's her mom.
Yeah.
And
Is it?
she wants to, I mean, to
Well,
her
it's in the visage of her mom.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
regardless, to her, it's her mom.
Yeah.
So she wants to continue talking to her. So put yourself in the shoes. What would you keep pushing? Like, it is one of those things that make you think.
I mean, I could totally, like, if you've ever lost someone, I could totally see you falling down
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, and that makes it
that
more
trap,
personal in it.
You know.
So, but when I originally, which you already heard what I thought about this movie, because Jordan, a lovely staff member,
Let it out
let
of
him
the
know.
bag.
Ruined it.
But
No, it's fine.
But the more I thought about it this morning, and I went back and looked at, like, reread a couple things about it, and to try to remember, I just now remembered the opening scene. That
Yeah.
was a good opening
Yeah, that's
scene.
great
yeah,
opening.
yeah. It's just a long
At the
Steadicam
party and
at
the
the party
and
they,
the kid that shoots. Yeah, that's right.
It's a great opening.
He like stabs his brother and then stabs himself in the
in
head,
the
and
head,
it's like
yeah.
so
Oh,
violent
stabs,
and like quick. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So, but like I said originally, and I think I talked to Jordan like the day after I saw it. When it ended, I was just left underwhelmed for some reason. I don't know what it was. I think maybe I was putting, because it looked like something I would like. I think I was putting too much into it. And I was expecting a lot more than I got.
Well,
I
maybe
guess.
you might have just been expecting a different movie.
But once I started looking back at it today and stuff, there was a lot of good scenes. There was a lot of good things about the movie. I think it's something that I enjoyed in a way.
It's the kind of horror movie I really like, where it just is straightforward. It's really thoughtful and well made, but it doesn't overstay its welcome. It doesn't overdo the gore or the supernatural. Like I love that shot, like where she's with the boy, and she just sees like a mass in the corner of the room. The lights out, and then it just kind of starts to like emerge, and it's just it's all just lighting and camera trickery, and like they did a really great job because the movie only cost $8 million.
Oh, it's not
which
bad.
is pretty crazy for.
That's pretty good for it.
It looks terrific, and it just goes to show you, like, you don't need $200 million. You just need a good eye and creativity,
exactly,
and imagination. And so I'm really happy the movie's doing really well too.
Oh, that's good
on such a small budget, and they already announced a sequel.
Oh, did they?
With the same directors too. So
okay.
I don't know.
No,
they were saying they were just like they just had other scenes that they had written for this one, but they had just didn't have enough time or money to shoot it, so they were gonna put that into a sequel. Which, I mean, if they make it, that's cool. I'll totally see it. It was a rare horror sequel that might be good.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is I didn't hate this movie. It honestly was a movie like the kind of movies I like.
Yeah,
and I think when I originally saw the trailer, I don't know if it was you that I told, but I told someone, I was like, this looks like a movie I would like, but nobody else would like.
Yeah.
It looked kind of cheesy in a way, and I like that. But like I said, I think there was just a couple things that took me out of it, and that's what caused the underwhelming feeling. But it is also something I would totally see the sequel.
Yeah.
And they can easily do that because they left it open. One, who knows what happened to the hand? They didn't really show anything.
I mean, I see like a sequel.
And
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and in the movie, they mention supposedly there's another one, the matching one, out there somewhere. So it could literally be anywhere and have a whole new story.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping they just do a new story.
Yeah.
Like it's not because I feel like this is like very contained.
Yeah.
The end is the end. I don't need any more with these characters.
No,
So just do
not with
something
these
with
characters.
the other hand or this hand or the hands meet. I don't know.
Right.
I get the
It
hands
opens a
meet.
giant portal when the hands touch.
I mean,
I did like that when they showed like the hell or like the place, the limbo place they are. It looked a lot like Hellraiser, and like it reminded me of like it had that kind of Hellraiser-y or like the space movie. Like it's just this like bloody, like almost weirdly sexual rendition of like torture and torment is. I like that. There was a lot I liked about the movie. It just usually possession stories are ones that really get me. Like they really scare me. Anything where you're like letting something in usually like really freaks me out. Like I don't play with saying Bloody Mary or Candyman.
I've done it all.
I know, but I don't like
Do you
it.
have to look into a mirror?
It just freaks you out. Please don't. I will like
Bloody. I think both of them are a
Does
mirror.
the camera count?
stop. Nope, I don't like it.
Oh,
Anyway,
it's a mirror.
I've never got Bloody Mary to show up. That's for sure.
I don't. Nope.
I've done Candyman
Too
many
many times.
times.
I've done.
Anyway.
Have you ever seen Candyman?
Oh God.
No. But I've chanted his name.
Ixnay on the Andy K. Anyway,
Well, I think we might have picked Candyman because Candyman is a pretty good movie. I'm a big fan of Candyman. I'm going to meet Candyman in October.
that's awesome. But
that
anyway,
is cool.
continuing. Ugh.
I think that's 5.
Yeah.
Isn't he also in Final Destination?
Yeah, he's
Yes.
he's the
That's what I
mortician. In
Those are good too.
So like stuff like that usually gets me, and this one did not like make me uncomfortable. And
Right.
I think that's like that's part of I think I was like, sad because usually like any kind of possession, Like anytime where someone like where you're letting something in, or you become, or people you care about become something other than themselves, like that usually gets me. It just didn't scare me. That doesn't mean it was a bad movie. I thought it was a good movie, but I didn't think it was scary. And for me, that's needed in a horror movie. Like,
see, I don't need that anymore.
I want to be scared. I don't want a jump scare, but I want to be made uncomfortable. And this didn't do that for me either. Like,
not even that face.
No, the face.
bashing?
like
I mean, as
some
far
of
as
the
like,
scene, like some of the like viscera made me uncomfortable, but like not like.
I think
it didn't sit with me afterwards.
It made me more just like reflective.
Yeah.
And I like that because it's very rare a horror movie does that.
Yeah,
Like
I want to go home and be freaked out, or go home and think about it for a couple of days, and I didn't do either of those things.
I will
that's
say,
a personal thing. Like I just want to like feel something about it after I'm done. And
I will say, and maybe that's part of what was underwhelming to me, because I do like when I leave the theater and I kind of feel like I'm in that movie still.
Yeah.
Like because it's affected me so much that I just like.
Or you're on edge, like The Shining.
On
does
edge
that,
still a little bit
like,
when I leave.
Yeah.
And maybe that was what was missing. It's one of those things that I can't exactly pinpoint, but it was just one of those. But like I said, there were so many parts about it I did like. I didn't not like the movie. Now that I'm like thinking back about it and stuff, there was a lot of stuff I liked.
it's one of those, like, if you went back and watched it in a year, you'd probably like it more the second time.
Right, maybe so.
Probably.
And it's definitely one I would watch the second
Yeah, I'm
one.
definitely going to watch it again whenever it comes out.
I think with the, like, yes, I think I was expecting something different. And I think watching it, knowing what it is, I would like it better. But yeah.
See, I like it when a movie surprises me and I'm not thinking.
I
like,
do.
It's unexpected.
Right.
I like that. Because, I mean, I just thought the trailer looked cool. It was like, it just looked like a movie, like a good horror movie, and it had like really good reviews. So I was like, okay. But
well, it's one of those things, like, even hearing you say when we opened up the podcast talking about it, that, you know, you think it's one of the best possession movies in a while. And I was kind of thinking, and I was like, man.
Smile.
I mean, well, I haven't seen Smile.
Oh my God, watch
So
Smile.
out of movies I have seen, what other possession movies have I seen lately that were at least as good as that one?
or just like Supernatural.
Smile.
Well, I mean,
Well, I haven't seen
Supernatural.
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
No, I didn't like Hereditary.
I
liked Hereditary, but it was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I think *Malignant's* a great.
Malignant was fun.
It's a great possession
Malignant
movie,
was-
but it's more fun.
It was Malignant was just like James Wan's just like, hey, come along, you can be in on the joke. Like it's a lot of it's the one like I don't want to because it has a really great
Snow White bad guy movie.
No, that's Maleficent.
Oh,
Malignant's
Maleficent, Malignant.
It's very like has kind of like a European Italian bend to it.
Okay.
And I don't want to say anything because it really gives it away. It's got a really great twist like 3/4 of the way through, and it just goes bonkers.
Yeah, it starts out like a really standard scary movie, and absolutely like.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, that to me is a little bit more like a creature movie, though.
It's definitely a possession movie, but
I mean,
yes, it is a creature. But
like it's more like what's a creature movie? What's a creature?
It's both. It's simultaneous.
Well, I mean, then a
Because it
vampire's
takes
a
over
creature, then it's possession too.
Yeah, because it's
the same-
something that takes
but
over
those are
your
creature
psyche
movies.
and makes you something different. Like I think, yeah, but demons are creatures too.
Well, by that, it's
in my
kind of like
opinion,
zombie
yeah.
movies or possession movies, and like anything you're going to get bitten or anything is going to.
Yeah, but you still retain self. It's like something else is driving you in *Malignant*. Like she is still her, and something else is acting on her.
Yeah,
her
but
body.
it's not like a demon.
But you can be possessed by things that aren't demons.
Well, I mean, it's not.
Let's ask our
it's not
local
an
ghost
It's not an
expert.
external force. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I checked out of that argument a little bit because I didn't know what y'all were talking
The
about.
question is, can you be possessed by something that's not, like, can it be a possession movie if it doesn't involve a demon and involves like something
cow?
else? No,
Oh,
but like
instead an animal.
like a. It's I don't want to ruin it.
Okay.
It's like she has another. There's one that's similar, Lights Out or something that has.
Does
a
something
similar
dead
vein.
take over her body?
No,
Kind of.
nothing
it's not
takes
a
over her
possession.
body. Exactly. It's a creature movie. I'm just like looking at like some like my horror movies and like The Witch and Hereditary as far as like Supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only two I have in my top 100 from the last 10 years.
That one was
I like
creepy,
Sinister
kind
a
of
lot.
about the grandparents.
Sinister's fun the first time or two.
Oh,
And then
is Sinister the one about the
videotapes.
The videotapes.
I absolutely love that movie. That's one of my favorite
fun.
movies.
It's a really fun, get under your skin kind of, but it's kind of jump scary. I don't know. It's pretty good. I
was literally just talking about that earlier today, and could not think of it, and I just called it the movie about the tapes in the attic.
Are you talking about Anything for Jackson with the old people, or are you talking about
no? What was it, like The Visit?
The Visit, the one with the grandparents.
Yeah,
the found footage.
I thought that was kind of creepy.
Shyamalan. It was okay.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I would not watch it again. It wasn't great.
It's a good little.
It was weird.
It's not a great movie, but a good little like possession movie. Devil. It was a Shyamalan.
Was that the one about
the devil in an elevator?
I always wanted to see that. And never saw it.
It's only like 80 minutes, but it feels like an extended Twilight Zone episode. It's a lot of fun.
Actually, the reason I never saw it is right after it came out, somebody told me the ending. But
that person sucks.
But I don't remember it, so now I probably could go back and watch it.
Yeah, you should watch that.
Because that was when it came out and the trailer came out, I wanted to see really, really bad.
Not a possession one, but have you guys seen The Autopsy of Jane Doe?
I've heard of it.
That one is pretty Josh, I think you would like it. It's
okay.
It's weird. It's good. So is Creep, but I'm trying to think of other ones that have
Another one that I recently saw an article about that I had seen back in the day that I actually really liked, and I think it's possession-ish, is Oculus. Did you see that about the mirror?
Oculus is possessionist.
It was also a WWE film somehow. I don't know. That was weird, but...
And It Follows is a recent one that's...
I didn't like it.
Oh, really?
No.
No, I love it.
I haven't seen
Great great concept, terrible execution.
I thought it was both a great concept and a good
execution. And then the Ouija movie...
Oh, those are not very good, but I have seen
for some reason, I remember liking
the first one.
I remember liking the first one, but
yeah, I don't like. Just
those are old.
Ones from the last 20 years or so, like The Mist, as far as supernatural stuff.
I liked It Follows.
Session 9's great.
Supernatural.
Under the Skin's a really good one.
Oh, that sounds gross.
It's about an alien played by Scarlett Johansson, and it's like it was directed by an alien.
Yeah,
almost. It's like
from their point of view in a way.
Yeah, not a traditional narrative or anything.
That's kind of neat.
It's just it's a great midnight movie.
Black Phone.
I didn't really care for it.
I
much.
liked it.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's definitely supernatural, and it is.
That's newer, right?
It's supernatural and crime. It's a weird
That's
comedy.
Joe Hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it because I didn't read it yet.
Scott Derrickson, who made Sinister.
Oh,
same director too. I thought it was okay. It didn't really. I don't know. It didn't grab me. Something felt inauthentic about the whole thing.
This has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. I mean, it does in a way because you said Under the Skin was the name of one. And that for some reason I got shuddered a little bit because I pictured, we've talked about this on here before, fingernails being ripped off. And that,
oh yeah, that's a great one.
We talked about how I hate that.
Was there one?
But for some reason when you said that, that's what flashed in my mind, and it was horrible.
Was there a fingernail thing in Talk to Me? There was a fingernail thing in a movie.
Yes. She wakes up and her hands are all, they don't dress it, but her fingernails are all bloody and full of flesh, she'd been ripping at something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's very weird. Yeah.
That didn't bother me.
Fingernail stuff. Yeah. Is
they're penetrated or ripped. Maybe that's because I once lost a fingernail. And
there's a movie that I can see. I don't know. I can't remember where the movie's from, but it's someone trying to climb and them pushing their fingers into the rock and you see the nail flick off.
I bet you anything, if you go back and listen to whatever episode we talked about this, we mentioned these same things.
Yeah, in the Evil Dead remake, that's serious. That happens too.
Maybe that's
she reaches up out of the thing, out of the cellar to climb out.
Yeah,
and then
I
gets
think
pulled
that's
back in, and all of her nails rip off simultaneously. Oh, it's gross.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but that gives me shudders.
It's gross. It's super gross.
But yeah, I mean, I think going back to, Talk to Me.
Sorry.
No. I mean, hey, that's what we're talking about.
Horror movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do all love horror movies.
I think overall it was an okay movie. I think I would go with okay. And I will probably watch it again when the new one's going to come out. Just to do a double feature kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely on board for a second one.
Yeah.
Like I said, I love the concept.
Yeah.
Love the concept. Also, so I would be glad to watch another one.
I like that technically this is a foreign film too.
Yeah.
It's an Australian.
Yes,
film.
I did like that.
I like that the accent. I like that it just wasn't in America.
Right. It just gave it a little bit of difference.
Yeah, it just had a little bit different vibe, and I like their perspective. I think it's the first foreign film, well, aside from the animes and Hero that we've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought it was a great movie.
And one of the best foreign horror films ever, Train to Busan.
Oh, Train to Busan, that's right.
Yeah.
That was a great flick.
Yeah, I like that
That
one.
was good.
I bought that one, and I ended up buying that one
Yeah, that one was good.
in the Forest of Case.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. It just wasn't, I don't know. Like, what I will say is that it is pretty solidly consistent from start to finish. And I feel like a lot of horror movies struggle.
Yeah, I
Like-
don't feel like it went off the rails anytime.
I don't feel like it went off. I don't feel like it in a bad way. Definitely, I don't feel like it had a distinct. They didn't over explain. Like they kept it. Like I've watched so many horror movies that have been ruined by the explanation in the last 15 minutes. Where I'm just like Lights Out is another possession movie.
It's a pretty good one.
And it's pretty spooky. But the end is just like, this is too much. Like I didn't need all the backstory. Can we just be scared of the thing?
Yeah, I mean, I just liked how focused this was. It gets you glued to the characters, and it just sticks there.
Yeah.
That's why I think you'll both smile. It's got very similar, all the violence is swift and visceral.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's also it doesn't, they don't go into it.
Okay,
It's
I'll
just-
give it a
it's
shot.
just,
Welcome to Real Opposites, where Toby's going to continually push smile.
it's really good.
I mean, I've
It's
heard
really
good
good.
things.
It
I think
legitimately freaked me out.
The something about the marketing or the thing. I was just it
It
seemed
was the
real,
marketing.
It seemed real gimmicky.
Well, it was
But
also
I'll
the
give it a
trailer
shot.
for me. I think the trailer is what didn't interest me.
It did. I
The
remember seeing the
marketing
trailer, and
Genius for them. How often does a movie go that far with their marketing? Placing people in baseball stadiums and
yeah,
it was smart, but it didn't do it for me.
no,
I think mainly it was the trailer that turned me off.
no. I remember seeing the trailer and be like, that looks
I had
lame.
zero interest
Yeah.
in watching it. And then
It looks
I
like a
watched
direct-to-video
it, and
movie.
I really, really enjoyed it.
And I think that's the thing is horror movies are so. I mean, they always have been to a certain extent, but there's so many of them made, and I have a Shudder subscription,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't watch. I watch a little bit of some of them, and then I'm just like, this is garbage. I'm turning this off because they everyone people love horror, but your love for horror doesn't mean you can make a good horror movie.
Right.
So, I don't know. I just feel like when I see a really good one, then I become kind of a fanboy of it
Right.
because they're just pretty few and far between. There's a really good one that I think will last, and I'll watch it again in 10 years and still really
Yeah.
find something new about it. And
that's kind of along the lines of what I'm saying about this one. I was underwhelmed, and I think the next day I basically told Jordan I didn't like it.
yeah,
But the more you think about it, and the more we sit here and talk about other movies and try to compare it to other movies, it kind of stands out because
I think it does.
there's not been a lot of good horror movies.
I think it's going to be in my October rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd agree with that.
I would
It's
not
on
be
the
against
October
watching it
list.
again and
Yeah.
just seeing if it hits better the second time around.
I think it might.
I think that for my October rotation though, it doesn't necessarily have to be.
I mean, your October rotation's kind of year round.
Yeah, it's all.
I thought you were going to say her October.
I try to save a lot of them. I mean, I'll still watch some of them throughout the year, but I'll save my gold standard ones for
Listen,
spooky season.
I like horror movies and romantic period pieces, and that's about
Ooh.
it. It's very it's a weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I like some action movies. I like lots of action adventure movies, but I don't like a lot of just regular run of the mill comedies. I don't enjoy I like horror movies and I like love stories. And that's what I want to watch. And anime. But
Ugh.
that's I don't know. It's my style. It's what I enjoy.
Welcome to Real Opposites, where I just make a lot of
But
unpleasant
horror
noises
movies,
when Toby
it's,
talks.
It's
today.
mostly horror movies, but there's a lot of other stuff in there.
Let me get you a bucket. You can hurl.
There we go.
I also have a Shudder subscription, and that's one of my
I canceled mine though.
most played ones. I
always
use it
forget
more
about
than
The only thing I watch
everything
is Joe
else.
Bob.
I watch the Joe Bob. I
didn't even watch most of him this year.
I like the foreign stuff that gets put on there. A lot of it is they're very good foreign.
I like
horror
that
movies.
they do have a pretty decent selection of foreign and some classic horror movies. But at the same time, I'm I had that on disc. So
I just had it for a little bit. I watched Dragula. That was pretty interesting.
I like their original series. Channel Zero is pretty good. I don't know. I like that's what I watch the most.
So y'all generally like Talk to Me.
Yes.
I think so.
I'm a bigger fan than you
I think-
guys, but you still recognize.
I think I think you're the biggest fan. I think I'm probably in the middle, and then Toby.
I still liked it.
No, you're at the bottom, Toby.
No, I disagree. Anyway, I did enjoy that one scene you were talking about with the room. Is the thing that they do really well is they just like put the room in the black, and then there are 2 points of light, which are the doorknobs, and that's the first thing that draws you.
Uh-huh.
And then your eye kind of cuts to the thing moving, and I thought that was a brilliant piece of.
Yeah, I mean, I just liked how it didn't try to, it was very focused and
It was
concentrated.
clean. It was beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So overall, I mean, if you haven't seen it and you're listening, I think it's worth seeing.
Go see it. Support a low budget horror film that's actually really good. And
and especially here in the budget, like that's great.
Yeah.
So go see it, and that way you're ready for when they make number 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So that basically wraps that up. All right. So that wraps up Talk to Me, and we're going to jump into some announcements from the library, and then we'll be back to talk about Barbie.
Coming up this month at the library for adults, we have the Make and Learn Glowforge puzzle class, where we will be creating our own puzzle using photo transfers. That class will take place in 2 sessions. You have to attend both because some things require drying and things like that. So that will be August 14th and August 21st. And then on August 28th, we have a puzzle competition where you can team up and take on each other in completing jigsaw puzzles. We've done it before and it was a great time, so we hope to see you guys there. Back to the show.
All right, so those are the announcements from the library, and we are going to go ahead and jump straight into Barbie.
The cinematic adventure of our time.
Yes. I will start with saying I was not... I mean, I wouldn't mind. It was kind of a movie I wouldn't mind to see, but it wasn't something I was dying to see. I had friends that wanted to go see it, and that was originally why I was going to see it, and why I was like, hey, let's just do both new movies, because I'm going to have to see it anyways.
Yeah.
But it ended up being a movie that I absolutely loved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it surprises, like, it was very surprising to me. I loved it.
I remember when they announced it, I was like, oh, okay, Barbie, whatever. Another Barbie movie. And then they said Greta Gerwig, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I liked The Little Women. She directed that, and Lady Bird especially. I really liked Lady Bird.
Yeah, and I loved Lady Bird.
And so I'm like, okay, this is going to go either one of 2 ways. Either we're going to get the movie we ended up getting, or we're going to get Greta Gerwig just cashing a check.
Right.
And just taking a payday.
I'm glad that's not what we got.
Yeah. And I'm really, props to her and to whoever produced was greenlit, whoever greenlit this thing and just let her do her own thing.
Yeah.
Because that rarely happens with something like this that's like based on like a toy or video game or whatever. Like they really just let her make the irreverent, subversive comedy. Like it really is like kind of the best of its kind for a long time. Like I can't think of a better, like a use of like an IP to really say something and also be just really funny and fun.
So funny.
It's really funny.
It's so funny.
Like I can't wait to see it a second time.
Yeah, I was laughing throughout the whole movie, probably more than anybody else in the theater.
Yeah, me too.
And there was so many little just quirky jokes, quirky off jokes that just like I get that, like
Yeah,
and it's just like it was, and I loved how like tactile the film felt. Like it felt like they just two hands coming off the screen. That's all you need, and it just felt like it was everyone's in a giant Barbie playhouse, and like it actually kind of looked like more like a silent film almost, like how they used to make George Méliès would make his films back in like the 20s, early turn of the century, and like they feel like the way they come out of Barbie Land. Or, is it Barbie Land or Barbie World?
Barbie
Barbie World?
I don't.
I keep
Barbie
wanting to
it's
say
Barbie
Barbie
Land.
Land.
It's Barbie Land
Okay.
and Kingdom, I think. Yeah.
Kingdom. And and I love that it's not some like extravagant like portal or something. It's just like no, they just kind of roll out of a
Like
I don't know,
across like several sets,
and it's
then
almost
end
like
up in there.
it's almost like 2D too.
Yeah.
Like they just kind of roll out of another set into it. And it's like okay, I buy it. Sure, this is awesome. It was fantastic. I really had a great
The
time.
whole opening like felt so much like I'm gonna talk because this movie was for me anyway. I think it's for everyone.
It really
but,
is
like,
for
it
everyone.
really is for
I
everyone.
identified
Yeah.
a lot with everyone.
But like,
100%.
but it 100%. The opening felt like you're in a Barbie movie from like the 90s or the 2000s, like a little girl's Barbie movie, and then it just.
Have you ever thought about death?
Have you ever thought about death? And it's
Right.
like, and then it hit, and then it like
Loved
really
it.
hits. Like the opening is kind of like, okay, like I'm not, like this is fun, and like what, but I'm not quite. And then it was like, oh my god.
I don't know. I
like-
mean, the opening starts with the Lizzo song
right?
"Pink,"
Yeah.
and that already had me laughing because it was like narrating her life as it went,
Yeah.
and like little things. I don't know. It was just almost like a weird meta for Barbie world,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I mean, I love
kind
this.
of thing.
The second day she wakes up and she like is like groggy, and then she falls off the
Yeah.
Yeah.
her third story or whatever,
Yeah.
and the song's just like, "Oh, girl, you okay?"
And the milk's
Yeah.
expired.
Yeah, it's
And she talks about it
so
like
funny.
It's just one of those movies, and that's the thing, because when it originally came out, I was like, man, this just it doesn't do anything for me. I'm it's just not
It's
going
just
to
a
do
toy
anything
commercial,
for me.
like it's what I thought it was going to.
Right, exactly. And I thought great for kids and like Barbie collectors. Like I thought there is definitely an audience for it. I'm just not that.
Yeah,
Everyone is the audience for this movie.
yes,
Yeah, it's,
beautiful.
you know,
You
I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that, but it's like it feels like something like Wizard of Oz almost.
Right.
Like it's like I can see this being like a classic in the years.
oh,
to come.
100%.
Like, it's universal. It kind of draws on the like just classic
Mhm.
Joseph Campbell kind of mythology, like a hero has to leave their home, the safety and comfort to
Right.
go find themselves and go on a journey. And God, I love Ken.
Oh yeah.
I love Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling has always been one of my favorite actors,
He's-
and he really pulls it in for this movie.
I don't know. I can't think of someone who does that kind of like. I don't know. It's very droll. Like
Mhm.
like this is outlandish, but I'm really gonna
Right.
play it straight
Yeah.
and unsure they're playing it straight. I don't know.
He was
He-
Ken.
he
It was
Yeah.
It was
Ken.
perfect.
like-
And when he gets into the real world and he
Yeah.
starts going and seeing all the the horses and all this
Yeah.
stuff, like
and then brings it back.
oh my god,
I really lost interest when I found out patriarchy wasn't about horses.
Right.
That's one of my favorite lines in the whole movie.
Oh,
It
so
is
But
good.
him
so
and
good.
Margot Robbie are so perfect. Her like posing, even like every time she moves, is
Yeah.
stellarly like Barbie. It's so perfect. Like the opening from like first pan up from the little girls like looking at her feet is yep, that's it. She's coming to it and he nails it. She nails it.
No matter what they're, I mean, I think what they're going through is generally universal, but you can still identify
Yeah.
with whether it's Ken or Barbie or
America Ferrera.
America Ferrera.
Oh, who I
like,
love.
Mhm.
Anyways.
Yeah. She was great. Her daughter was really good too. I thought
Yeah.
she was good.
I mean, that was a big thing. The casting in this was great. Even your extra Barbies or your extra Kens, they were great. I loved Gosling as Ken.
Simu
Huh?
Simu
Yes,
Ken's
that's
Convenience.
exactly who I was going to talk
Oh,
about.
yeah.
From Ken's
Yeah.
Convenience. I
Yeah.
love him, and him as the gosh, that sounds weird
Him as
when
Ken.
Anyways, his version of Ken
Yeah.
being the rival, I absolutely loved that.
It was great. Like there's like,
The tension there.
I'll
It was
beat you off.
I'll beat you up.
I'll beat you both off.
We'll beat
At
you
the
off
same
right
time.
now.
Beat you off right now.
All the adults were losing it in the
Yeah,
theater.
it's
Yeah.
amazing. And just everything about this movie.
I love it as like my job's beach.
Beach.
Yeah,
No, lifeguard.
What
My
do you
job's
do?
beach.
I
I'm
beach.
Beach Ken.
yeah, a beach.
I would like to apply for your job of beach. I mean lifeguard. No, I can't go out there. I just stand here.
I just stand
Yeah.
here.
And I'm like, no.
So many good things, and even like the musical numbers, amazing.
Yeah,
like
they were
it
really
all was
terrific.
great.
Where they are fighting and they just all end up holding hands with
Yeah.
I'm just Ken. And it's like, it's so
Oh, and
sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
when it goes into like the full Bob Fosse number
yeah.
with all the Kens.
Yeah.
The movie was just like endlessly creative.
Yeah.
It was
And it never
great.
like took a second to just like, oh, okay, we're a Barbie movie. Here, go buy some Barbies.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
like always. It's always moving. It's always popping.
It was. And the funny thing with the I'm Just Ken, well, actually two things, but
Yeah.
the I'm Just Ken, he wrote it largely as a joke, Mark Ronson did.
Yeah.
But then like Ryan Gosling was really about that song. And the funny thing about it is I saw, it was yesterday or the day before or something, like it's on the charts right now.
I'm Just Ken.
Yeah. Like it is, which Gosling can kind of sing. Anyways, he used to have a band that I love.
He has done. He did
But-
La La Land. Like he's done Broadway
Oh, that's
shows
true,
and
yeah.
stuff. Like he's talented. Yeah.
But he's very talented. But I thought that was kind of funny that it's just like even the music is a hit right now.
Yeah.
Which has got a good soundtrack. But
It does. Yeah. The soundtrack's not bad.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see our little babies from Sex Education
Yeah.
in it?
Oh, I can't pronounce his name, but Otis's best friend.
Takudi Gatwa.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the
And then
he's the like assistant.
and then the the principal's son
The Office Boy.
it plays the office guy.
Boy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig was definitely a big sex ed fan.
Right.
Put both of them
Yeah,
in.
'cause she-
Which is a great TV show, by the way.
Fantastic show. I love
Fantastic.
it.
I thought Kate
Uh,
McKinnon did a great job. It was
Yeah,
like
I mean,
weird
she's
Barbie,
great.
and like I
She's
wasn't
always
like
great.
I mean she is always usually pretty, but like I was like, yep, that tracks. Like
Yeah.
she just
Yeah.
does a lot of like real physical acting and
Yeah, she was great.
mhm.
And you could really tell a difference between when she was Barbie and when she was like realizing about life Barbie.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Desperation
you could-
Barbie.
in her in her movements and stuff you could see it.
Yeah. Speaking of like, I like that. Like I think we were talking about a little bit. They even use like hand cranked sets and like painted backdrops. Like none of that CG in Barbie
Yeah.
Land.
That was perfect.
As it's it's really great, and it gives the film like a texture that feels like I can reach out and touch it.
Exactly.
kind of. Like,
and
it
that's what
doesn't-
you needed for this.
Yeah, and for like you can tell like the movie was expensive. Like it was like
Mhm.
$150 million or something, but I can see it on the screen. And it's just like I don't know. It gives the film a unique look in an age where most of the stuff is just like on a green screen.
Yeah. And
on
it
the-
gave it the look of their toys. It gave
Yeah.
it that look.
Yeah, it gave you that like
It
everything
was
looks like
good at
molded
that.
plastic. You know.
And I know what it was I was going to talk about. You were talking about how it wasn't a commercial.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that because I mean Mattel did like greenlight this to be a thing.
Mhm.
And actually they've greenlit some other movies. Hopefully they're as good, but I doubt it. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
That's what I think.
But-
That's the only thing Hollywood's going to learn about this is like Barbie made money.
We can keep doing it.
Anything that was based on a toy, let's make that.
Right. But it's not what it
they
is.
won't
That's not
get
what
it.
it
And that's what I
It's
liked
not.
about this one. They even, and some of the things I picked up because I had accidentally like come across it on the internet before I saw Barbie, but it didn't ruin Barbie, but it was like people talking about old Barbies and like how they were removed and discontinued and things.
Oh yeah.
And they touched on that stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
Like
And
they
they
made
addressed
fun
the-
of it.
And they addressed
Yeah.
the damage that like while Barbie, they did
Yeah.
address like the way that Barbie was
Didn't-
damaging. It was not always like
yeah.
good for girls.
Yeah, like
and
this-
that's what I
and-
loved about I mean, that was
Yeah.
great.
yeah, I mean this like that they're kind of like parodying the movie this could have become.
Mhm.
Right.
'Cause
Exactly.
if you didn't have Greta Gerwig in the cast and everything, it would have just become just like kind of what the opening is. It's like Barbie solved all the world's
Right.
problems.
Yeah.
Like
Barbie's
there was
the
a
ultimate
Disney movie,
feminist. You
like
know?
Super Size Me or something.
Yeah.
Where,
Yeah.
where at the model,
Oh, Brandy. I didn't
No.
know. No, it's not Brandy. It's
But
she's a model,
Tyra
Tyra
Banks. Yeah.
is like a Barbie, and then she becomes life size, and it's a Disney movie. Like
okay.
I that's kind of how I thought Barbie might be,
Okay.
but like man, they went in on it, and
Yeah.
I absolutely love that. If somebody can take something and talk about it in a real like world way,
Well, yeah, and it takes in all the perspectives
Life Size was the
Life
Tyra
Size.
Banks movie.
of
Sorry.
like that there are positives to Barbie,
Mhm.
but there's also a lot of like you got to
Yeah.
have both.
Well,
you
they
know?
talk about that in the movie, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the whole "It's impossible to be a woman" speech, which, by the way,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I like bald.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about it, but like where it's like, and if all that is also true for a toy that is just portraying a woman,
Hmm.
and that is like, I mean, that is the crux of the issue with like a doll. Is
Yeah.
like, how do you make, something representative without making it a standard?
Yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
it's hard. Like, and I totally get that. I love them like being like, her coming upstairs at Mattel and be like, I want to see the woman in charge. And,
Right.
Get in the
there's
box, you Jezebel.
Yeah, like in the box. Jezebel. Yeah, like it's
Just
just
get in
like,
the box.
Also, yes, I did not know he was in this movie.
He's so funny.
So when he came on, it was hilarious. He was
Yes.
perfect for that. But that was one of my favorite. And all the discontinued, you had
Midge.
Magic Earring Ken,
Pregnant
Midge,
or whatever.
all of
Alan.
those are discontinued Barbies, and for specific reasons.
Yeah.
And they put them in the movie and poked fun at it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just very self-aware, and the fact that Mattel was like, yes, green light this.
go ahead.
Like, good for them, because they were able to, still talk bad about it as well.
Yeah, and I really love the journey Ken went on too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a real thing, like he goes to the real world and figures out men are in control here,
Yeah.
and he comes and brings all that
Toxic masculinity.
yeah, like pompous, head up your ass kind of
Right.
attitude back, and it's just like horses and cars and
Chaps.
chaps.
His life of
And-
blonde fragility.
Yeah, and back to Kingdom, and but I like that all of that external stuff is just masking that he feels lost
Right.
in Barbie's world, because I thought that little speech he gives was like really touching, where he's
Mhm.
just like, I only exist for you.
Yeah.
This is Barbie land. I'm just yours.
Yeah.
I only exist if you see me.
Yeah.
And are with me.
Yeah. When he was like, "You're Barbie, I'm and Ken."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Ken.
and then their little back and forth where she's just like, you have value too beyond me.
Yeah.
Like you exist as an individual. And it's like, I thought that was really touching.
And it's hard for him to learn that too. And that's
Yeah.
the flip of like, a lot of Barbie is about like, feminism, feminine empowerment, and those things.
Hmm.
And those things are hard to learn.
Right.
And so Ken struggles when he's told like,
Yeah.
it's you, like you have the ability to do this. It's like they only get their Supreme Court, they only get their lower court seat or whatever. It's like you have the ability to do this, but there's so much ingrained in you that says this is what your life is. It's very
Yeah.
hard to shake. And
It
like
is.
Ken Ken struggles with that. And I think that shows the flip of like, what it is to be other, any kind of other in a world that is dominated by something that is not you. And it's like, I think that that's true for
I mean,
or in a space even that is anything but not you. I mean, like we work in a library. Our library is very split, like male and female, but like in our industry,
It's unusual.
It's very unusual. So it's
Yeah.
like it's a weird. Like you're always gonna like there are always spaces you're going to feel other, and then what is it like to feel empowered in that space, and like
Yeah.
how do you be there and not
like
just as
the last thing I expected
addition.
the Barbie movie was to be like really touching about like identity politics and
Mhm.
like your relevance in society, but whether you're a man or a woman and it's just like, this is a Barbie movie.
Right.
And I don't want I was like, because the movie's super popular,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
it's this is one of those that really earns it. I feel like.
Oh,
And it's
100%.
really
It
popular
earns it.
for a reason, because it is really talking to people about issues that matter and that are important, but it's doing it in a super fun, vibrant,
Mhm.
engaging way.
I think the only other movie lately I think has hit that same like it's super popular, but it deserves where it is kind of thing for me is I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought it was touching and beautiful and like
I think there's a 90-minute version of that movie that
I don't know. I really loved it.
I didn't see it, of
liked
course.
I mean, I like where it goes with that one. It's just like it just keeps hitting the same beats over and over and over again. And
Yeah, that's true.
it gets like exhausting.
I really
But
loved
I mean,
it. I thought it was
I know
beautiful.
you guys haven't seen Oppenheimer, but Oppenheimer's similar to Barbie. Like it's because they're both super relevant in very different ways.
Yeah.
And they're both really, really could not be further apart, but they're extremely well made and both more than valid. I'm really happy that both of them are doing so well. And they're both, even though Barbie's based on a toy, like it feels like an independent film.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't feel like a studio made it. Feels like somehow independent producer got like $150 million.
Yeah.
And was like, make this movie. And Oppenheimer's based on, it's a historical biopic, but it's still an original film.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Barbie, I think a lot of it goes back to Greta. I mean, having that feel
I mean,
and that, and I mean, just like with Lady Bird, but
I mean, she definitely has like a very, she really understands how to make a entertaining film that also is very touching and topical and funny. Like Lady Bird's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
it is,
and it's just a very sweet little film.
Greta Gerwig always has a lot to say, but she always says it
in the right way,
beautifully, and in the right way.
Yeah,
and it's not hidden, like obviously, like that, like there's a whole, and it's just, but it's also not like, it's not aggressive. It's just this is what it is, and this is hard.
And I think she's gotten better as she's gone on. Like her first couple of movies were very like Frances Ha is very New York kind of like independent. It's a little like it's a little bit much for me, but I think she's gotten better with each film.
Yeah,
and I like that her husband Noah Baumbach, who made Squid and the Whale. And Marriage Story.
When you said that name, I was like, man, I know that name.
He co-wrote it with her too. I like that it was.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I noticed that on the credits. Like, he co-wrote.
Well, that could be why. Yeah,
that's what I like that it has, because it has both perspectives.
It does,
like clearly, like they're married. They talked about all this stuff.
Yeah,
and like it shows up on screen.
Man, that makes a lot of it make sense. And that's the thing about this movie. Like I said, it was, when I saw it, I thought the same thing as you. Like commercially, whatever. But this movie has something for everyone. It has a great story. It has great acting. It's visually beautiful.
Yeah.
Musically beautiful. But for me, it also doesn't, you don't have to deep dive into it. Like it is just what it is.
Yeah.
There's tons of meaning to it, but it's out there and it's just very present and it, I don't know, it has its highs and lows, but it's the whole time it's hilarious.
It really is, like from start to finish. And I think like a good example of like what this movie could have become would be like the Mario movie. Like it's okay. It's a Mario movie.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of what I expect out of a Mario.
You're talking about the new one?
The new one, yeah. And it's
which I liked. It was funny, but it was okay.
I mean, it's like, but like I just imagine if they had really given someone like her the keys to that one.
Yeah.
How funny it could have been.
That's true.
And I think like that's like that movie for the mediocrity that it is like, it's basically just a toy commercial or video game commercial.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
It's just, and it's great for kids. Like it's fine. It is.
Now
what
I will
is.
say Jack Black made that.
Jack Black is great. He's the best part of the movie.
Right.
I feel like Barbie is more, it works for both for adults and it works for everyone.
Yeah. And
unless you're Ben Shapiro and then you're just going to burn your Barbies in your backyard.
That you out.
Like a loser.
Well, what really sucks is he just spent his money towards exactly what he did.
I know, right? He just went to Toys R Us and bought
That's
some
what
Barbies.
I love about people that are haters.
Yeah.
Like, you're spending money.
It's a Barbie movie. Don't go watch it if you don't want to watch
that.
it. Loser.
One thing I think is neat about the Barbie movie is, what was it? Was it Ugly Barbie, Weird Barbie?
Weird Barbie.
Weird Barbie.
It's Kate McKinnon.
Kate
Yeah,
McKinnon?
Weird
Yeah,
Barbie.
Weird
Yeah.
Barbie.
Yeah.
They are making Weird Barbie now.
Are they?
Yep. They're gonna. She's getting her own Barbie.
You don't make Weird Barbie. You just have one. You
I know,
play
but
with
they
it
are
too
making
hard.
it, and I
have,
love that.
Like 3.
Because there's probably tons of people out there that want Weird Barbie.
I had Weird Barbie, and I had.
I mean, just get a Barbie and just color her hair and.
I know, but I love that. I mean, I know they're cashing in on it, is what it is. But I love that they're taking that step too.
Yeah.
To make something weird.
Yeah, and I love the ending is so good.
Yeah, I did.
She goes to the doctor.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
She's like,
She's a real
she's
girl now.
so
'Cause you think
excited. She's so
You really
excited.
think
Like it's
she's
not,
going for a job is
as
what
it-
I thought.
It's
Yeah.
not the worst. Like it's not the worst day of the year.
Yeah.
Every time.
Right.
It's so weird and awkward. You're just like,
Yeah, I loved it. It was
'cause
hilarious.
That is like, I'm here for my gynecologist appointment is really how it normally goes. And she's like, I'm here for my gynecologist appointment. And it's like,
It was great.
No.
I mean, overall, this movie is just, and the reason it is for everyone is it's a great movie.
It's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I mean,
So
I don't
touching.
know the last time I mean, other than like Scream, that I went to a movie theater and enjoyed the movie that much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That might have been also what happened to Talk to Me, is I double featured Barbie and Talk to Me.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
you,
so I came off one of the best movies I've probably seen in the last few years
Right.
into a movie that was all right.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
That
like-
could, that
Yeah,
could
you
have
should
been
have reversed
some of
that.
it.
Yeah, that could have been a lot of it because it was, man, I don't know. I loved all of the Kingdom stuff. That was hilarious.
It
what was the name of his place?
Hey, tell him Kingdom. The
Dojo.
Mojo Dojo Casa of like
Mojo Dojo.
I love it.
badassdom or something. I don't remember, but it was hilarious. One of my favorite things. I'm sorry, Josh, but it like made me. It wasn't like you don't like over explain. You were not that guy, but it just made me giggle. It's like I just feel like I lived in a world where I'm really invested in the Snyder Cut.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And then one where it's like, and he's like, so just go up to him and tell him you've never seen The Godfather. And like, I was like, man, because I know like why they're doing it is any kind of, anywhere, any space that you're in as a woman, that's a predominantly male space.
Yeah.
If you come in and don't know everything about everything, you're going to get sat down and over explained to. And it's just going to happen. And for people that make movies, it's going to be that. It's going to be the Snyder Cut of Batman. It's going to be like, and so that is, Greta Gerwig, I'm sure pulling from her experience of like, a number of times I've had a movie explained to me by somebody who knows less about movies than I do. Like, that's exactly what has happened to her. Like, and so that's why she pulled it. But like, I mean, anywhere that like, it's so like me and Joe were just like,
we like
poor Josh.
me and my partner is her favorite movie is The Godfather, so we got a good kick out of that.
Yeah.
How it's like it's reversed there. And what did you think of the Pride and Prejudice?
Oh, I
was so funny.
giggled. I'm a fan of for me, it's the 2004 one, but that's fine. That was when I saw first. I do love the BBC though. I've watched
made us
it a
laugh
few
so
times.
hard.
Like Depression
'Cause
Barbie
it's
and
totally
her
a
Pride and
thing.
Prejudice. It's what happens.
It's a thing.
It's very consistent among a lot of this is what you do when you're depressed. You watch Pride and Prejudice and eat ice cream.
I watch Scream, but
Yeah.
when I'm depressed.
I watch A Knight's Tale a lot of times. That's my go-to right now when I'm sad.
my
I don't
go-to's-
know why I love it, but I do.
My go-to is always Scream. If I'm sad, if I'm happy, if I'm sick,
Yeah.
Scream.
I don't know. I loved it. Every single
Yeah.
thing from start. I love the jokes are so well set up and so good. Like when they bring her the water and the mineral water and she pours it on herself
yeah.
and then it's
I'm not used to that having
not
something in it.
I'm really glad it didn't spend too much time in the real world either.
Yeah.
Because that kind of fish out of water has been
Yeah.
done so many times.
And that's what I think I was also a little worried about that when she was like, I got to go to the real world. I was like, oh, like,
We just stay in Barbie land.
but then it was just like the perfect amount.
Yeah.
And it didn't lose its funny. It played that out of water, but just long enough kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was great. I love when she's getting into the Mattel cars and America Ferrera is with her daughter and
Oh yeah.
and she just like knows it's her Barbie and she
Yeah.
like gets out and runs after the cars
and her daughter's like,
Like,
what are you doing?
pointlessly.
I love all of the businessmen in their black roller blades.
Oh,
when they
yes.
realize
Oh,
they
yeah,
have to
that's
go to
great.
The
Barbie
scene
land.
of them going to Barbie Land was hilarious.
I love
The tandem bike that's like 20 people long.
yeah. I love when they come out and they're like rollerblading, and Barbie's like, I'm uncomfortable, and Ken's like, I'm not.
Yeah.
This is great. There's not a tinge of violence to this at all. And she's like, no, mine definitely has a very strong undercurrent of violence to it. She's like, it's amazing. She's like, it's not. Like,
That is funny.
You know, I don't know. It's just like, it's very, you know.
Yeah, the way like he can say very like Gosling can say very like with a smile very serious things. He's really good at that. That's totally what Ken is,
and that's why he was
good.
Ken. He was perfect.
There's a little moment I really liked when she's in the boardroom, and you know he's like get in the box, Jezebel.
Yeah,
and she's getting in the box, and they're starting to sew the or not sew
the twist ties.
The twist ties.
Yeah,
and there's a really I think like the music kind of gets a little suspenseful, and it starts getting close ups on the the twist ties, and it's like that's a really good moment. You can see the panic in her face, like being trapped. I don't know. That's a really I like that little moment.
I like that little scene.
I like her.
I love that they included the zip ties too.
Yeah,
that's
great.
perfect.
Her excuse to get away is like, I just need to go fix my hair real quick.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's fine.
Which,
well, that makes sense. We're going to put you back in the box. So.
Well, but like those, I mean, okay, like, you know, when you're a girl in a scary, semi-potentially violent situation, like that's a great, let me diffuse real quick.
Yeah.
Right.
Of like, oh, I'm totally here and into this. Let me just step and then book it.
Right.
And like, I mean, I've done that. I've done that to get out of like being cornered by a man before.
Right.
I've been like, oh yeah, I'll be right back. I just need to run to the restroom, or I just need to check in with my girl real quick.
Right.
And but not like in a way like I'm gonna like you have to pretend like you're there for it and then get out.
And that's what we're saying. Like there's so much in this movie for everyone.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, even that scene brings up so much in everybody.
Yeah.
It's just everybody has a feeling about something throughout this movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching it again.
I actually really am too. Now, especially now that we've talked about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go see it.
I don't know. I cried a whole bunch. I don't know if
I did not cry.
I didn't cry. I got kind of close a couple times. Like I got a little emotional.
I don't cry. I'm emotional. So.
You are not. I cry very easy, but like it definitely got me. Like I said, there are definitely moments where I was like, oh God, because I think that's something Greta Gerwig does really well is she's really good at kicking you and then picking you back up like the next second. I mean, she does it well in Lady Bird. She does it well in Little Women, where it's just like there are these really heavy emotional moments, but there's nothing to do but grin and bear it. And that's how the movie feels. It's like there's nothing to do but try to make it better. And like
life.
That's kind of the overall point of the movie is if you're unhappy with the state of the world, there's nothing to do but try to make it better.
Right.
Make it better for everyone. Like, you know?
I just love that. Like I said before, Mattel, you know, greenlit it. They were able to make fun of themselves. It made it the movie that it was.
Yeah.
And it had so many different storylines in a way that, you know, it really touched on a lot of topics.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it didn't feel like it had a lot of storylines, and it was hilarious the whole entire time. It was engaging the whole entire time. Like, there was not a minute of this movie, which happens a lot for me in movies. There was not a minute in this movie where I was like, man, you know, where are we in this movie? Are we at the hour mark? Like, come on, let's pick it up a little bit.
No.
Even when it was like a slow part, it was not a slow part. Like, it was just completely... It was good through and through.
I really love the fourth wall break of A Note to Filmmakers. Margot Robbie is the wrong person to cast if you want to make this point.
I laughed really hard.
You don't look perfect or whatever. But like the thing is, and I was thinking about Margot Robbie has been told in her career that she's weird looking or she's not beautiful or she's that she needs to lose 10 pounds.
This or that
she's
for the
too
role.
This or that. Her eyes are too big. Her smile's too, and like she's one of the most beautiful women in the world. That's why there are like 6 of her, and not like of her, but women that look like her in Hollywood that get hired.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like
one of them's in the movie, Emma Mackey.
Yeah.
Also from.
I think the casting of this movie was great, though. I mean, I think everybody was perfect.
I think it was perfect. That's my point. It's like even though they make that joke, it's like but everybody, no matter who you are, has been made to feel bad about themselves, even if they're totally okay in their spot. And it's like you know, that's just what the world does to everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
To Kens, to
there's so
Barbies,
many
midges.
like things they touch on in this, but it doesn't feel like they're beating you with it.
No. They're doing
Like
it
it's in a funny way,
Yeah,
or it was really good.
And I think that's why the movie, I think it'll last for a long time, is because kids growing up now, maybe they were like 7 or something when they saw it. You know, in 4 or 5 years, they're going to watch it again and be like, oh, wow, I get this a lot more. And then they're going to watch it as adults and be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when you really appeal to everyone. I mean, it's kind of like Star Wars. Like, it works for everyone. There's a lot of stuff for kids. There's more stuff for adults. And it's just like you can enjoy this throughout your whole life.
Right.
And it's universal.
Yeah, I'm assuming that kids probably really enjoy this. I haven't talked to many kids about it, but
But it's PG-13, so I feel like a lot of kids aren't.
This is the most
getting to see
ridiculous
it.
PG-13 I've ever seen.
yeah.
This is a PG movie.
Absolutely, it is.
I
They
didn't get
bleep
that
out
either.
the bad words. Like it's
Not
not.
only that, but even like the jokes that were clearly adult jokes
Are not like overly like, graphic or
no,
like,
you're not going to notice them unless you know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's just like really
I feel like it
There's-
wasn't even the kind of jokes that would make a kid question what it means.
no.
Like it would just be like, "Oh, I don't know what that is."
Oh, what's that?
Yeah, like, "Oh, cool, Barbie."
Yeah, I mean it's not.
But I think this movie is fine for anyone. I mean, and I could see every age taking something from it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, awesome movie.
Yeah, so I guess that. I mean, we kind of all agree on it. It's a great movie. Definitely see it. Maybe even
probably
see it twice.
again because you've probably already seen it.
Yeah, that's also true. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing with your life?
Go see it again.
Unless you're like me, I never intended to see
One
it.
of us.
I think it's definitely worth seeing. We all loved it, is what I'm taking from this, right?
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
So that brings us to the end of that then.
Yep.
Barbie, talk to me. Both decent movies, both still in theaters.
Sounds like you said Barbie, talk to me.
Barbie, talk
Come on,
to me.
Barbie. Talk
Come
to me.
on, Barbie, talk to me. But both good movies.
I
both
let you in, Barbie. What if you just get possessed by Barbie and then you just suddenly become plastic and you got like makeup and perfect
I
hair?
mean, unless you're possessed by weird Barbie, which would be my luck.
Your feet go like,
Yeah.
I would never wear heels if my feet were made like this. That was a good one.
yeah.
That
Yes.
was good. But yeah, both are good movies. But Barbie is excellent, I would say, and they're both in theaters. So if you haven't seen them, I would go see them.
Go support good films.
Yes.
And especially Talk to Me. It's A24, and they're the only studio to immediately cave to all of the writer's strike demands.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah. So go support them. Good job, A24. Way to take care of your people.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so since we've wrapped up this episode, I guess it's come to that time where we pick movies for next time around.
yeah. What you got for me, Aaron?
Well, I think I'm just going to go with, we kind of already discussed this.
Oh.
And it's something I've wanted to do on the podcast
discussed
for a long time.
Christ.
And, you know, Paul Rubens just recently passed.
Okay,
Oh,
that's where we're at.
Anyways, I know Paul Rubin is mainly known for Pee-wee,
Yeah.
but he plays one of my
So
favorite
we're watching
roles.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right?
We could do both.
Oh, no.
So, anyways, he is one of my favorite roles as Amelin in the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
So we're doing the Joss Whedon
1992 Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy. Okay.
This next episode is going to be short.
No. There's so much to talk
There's a
about.
lot to talk about.
It is one of my favorite movies, and I have just been dying to talk about
Okay.
it
Okay.
We
in
can,
life, and nobody ever listens to me. So now we must talk about
Most
it.
people would take that as a hint.
No, because it's good.
So I get to watch Buffy again.
Buffy
which
again.
I've actually watched it like maybe 4 or 5 years ago again.
Okay.
I liked it when I was a kid.
You got to rewatch it because
Yeah,
you got to talk about it.
I know I do. Yeah, I'm watching Buffy. So what I'm picking for you, I have not picked in the almost 2 years we've been doing this a Stanley Kubrick movie.
Oh,
I thought we've done one of his.
nope.
Oh.
No, and I think the only one you've seen is The Shining.
Oh, that's why I know his name. Okay.
So I'm going to pick one of my favorite movies, A Clockwork Orange.
Ooh.
Okay. So it looks like next podcast we are shying away from horror, and we're going to actually just do 2 of our individual favorite movies.
And then the next one, I'll pick like a romantic comedy.
Great.
Oh, I meant in this one.
No,
that
I
we're
didn't
gonna
know this
do.
one. Yeah, I know, but I'm just
Like,
thinking.
I think the overall theme there is favorite movies. But until then, I'm Aaron,
I'm Josh.
and this has been The Real Opposites.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go party.
Yeah.